Hey everyone, welcome back to Unsealed and Revealed, the web series from Sideshow in which me and two of my geeky Sideshow friends freak out about the latest and greatest offerings from six-scale manufacturers from around the world. I'm Terry Smith, your host today, and with me as always from Sideshow HQ, way out on the West Coast, is my buddy Guy Klender. How's it going out there, Guy?
It's going great, Terry. This is one that you and I have talked a lot about, particularly not only the film, but now having it in character form, an animated style.
Yeah, cool. Also out there in the same general area as Guy, but separated by at least several floors because he's way down in the Sideshow dungeon, which is looking better and better all the time, by the way, with those fancy schmancy art prints he's got hanging behind him. Sweet stuff. How's it going? Paul Hernandez.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unsealed and Revealed. Yes, I've got some art prints up in lieu of spooky season. I'm ready. Yeah, I mean, this is a great piece. We're very fortunate to see it during Sideshow New York Con, but we are going to take a closer look at it. Remember, we are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook, Let Your Geek Sideshows Facebook group, and on Twitch. So wherever you are, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because every time you do, we get to maybe do another fun Terry pose, or Terry gets to just use another fork as a trident or some fun thing. But
oh, no. I'm gonna do some fun stuff today, my friend. I'm legitimately going to be doing my own stunts. There's no other way to put it.
Oh, that's nice. I've been saying you're like Tom Cruise for years now.
So you're the one. Okay.
Thank you all so much. Let me know. Talk to me in the comments if you have any questions for these two gentlemen.
Cool stuff. Guys, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I legitimately did not know anything about this movie until it was out. And it took the team at Sideshow. I remember distinctly. I'd showed up to do some How to Be a Poser episodes, and the team there at Sideshow was leaning on me heavily. You haven't seen this yet? Damn it, we can't talk about it until you go see it. So make sure that you see it before you come back again. And I, like everybody else, was just thrilled for it. I'm thrilled to buy it. I went into it blind. Probably even enhanced my experience more than I would have imagined that it would have. But yeah, great stuff. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Guy has to show us here with Gwen. Guy, without further ado, you want to dive right into it?
All right, let's do it. As you can tell, this is a much larger box than what we see on some of our standard 12-inch, even though this character is the smaller teen girl, so she's not 12 inches in height as far as the figure, but there's a lot going on inside. So you get really bright artwork there and kind of that bubbled aspect as they change multiverses in there. Nice and glossy on the side. You've got some action scenes over there. There on the back, I like how they've done this for the black area that's so you're able to read the text actually is Kingpin. I thought that was a kind of a cool, fun little idea. Isn't that pretty neat? Like, oh, well, we need to have the color easy to read if that was just white on the blue like that.
The whole shape of him is so disconcerting.
I know, but it was very neat.
Yeah.
Lift that up. It does have a slide there, and we have a large window box that you are able to see your figure and an assortment of accessories in there. Spin it around, and you have the character on the side as well. And opens from the bottom, so let's do that right away. Now, I've already taken the liberty of removing the instructions, my favorite.
Yeah, thanks for getting those out of there. Thanks. Let's get rid of those.
I know, Terry doesn't want those. I actually take them out early so I can take a peek at them. Now,
instructions give me hives.
One thing, when you do remove it from the package, inside the package, attached to the back of the inner pink cardboard is going to be your backdrop, and that's for the Gwen Stacy as well as for Spider-Ham. I've set those off to the side for the moment. All right, top tray is going to have my additional hands in there, and I will fan those out in a moment. Dynamic figure stand. This is a spider character. We know we're going to go airborne. I'm pretty darn sure that you are going to be taking me airborne flight in this one here.
Count on it.
Does have the Gwen Stacy there. Spider-Man logo on there. And this is
really
a thinner stand, but I like that it is in the bright white. Now we also have a second stand, and that's this one here. The little clear plastic one. Which looks like it's got a bunch of water spilled there, and that is for this accessory, your largest accessory in the container.
Look at him.
Now this
legitimately
pre-posed like so, but just so fun. Like yourself, you didn't know anything, and they said, well, you got to go see this movie. For me, this was my first introduction to the Peter Parker versions other than Peter Parker, or the Spider-Man that aren't Peter Parker. That was a first for me, so seeing the different characters on there. I think that's great. I love that it's an accessory and technically a whole other character in the film. Now I'm just going to set her up here for the moment while I unpack a lot of accessories. So I can let cameraman Michael take care of doing some close-ups on everything in here. Does have
now, Guy,
if
you don't mind me interrupting, I'm just looking at my first look at the figure, and it seems like the legs are somewhat elongated. Maybe that's just my perspective here, but I didn't expect that. I expected to have like anatomically true body, like the typical proportions, leg to torso, that kind of thing. But it seems like they've actually gone all in with a new figure body that perfectly replicates the design of the characters in the show. That's cool.
I think you're right on that. It does definitely have the proportions that you had in.
I mean, if I'm wrong, then please tell me I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right. And I mean, as teens, your teen years when you get most of your height, so perhaps that's when you do. But I believe this is a fully brand new body. This isn't being used with any other figure, particularly also with her size, as far as, like I said, her height. She's a shorter character as well. So, all right.
Looks great.
Did I get everything out of it? The only thing I didn't take out here is additional wrist pegs. You do have 2 additional white wrist pegs that are going to come in there. All right. Can't have a spider without all of the spider webs. If you do own any of the other Spider-Man figures, you've seen these before, where they have the large kind of bulbous one, the straight shooters, my favorite, the lasso, which I have a feeling Terry's going to probably have me using something like that.
That's legitimately my favorite too.
The one that you probably remember, I call the splooch. The splooch. And that attaches to your other. And then you have the L-shaped one. And if you've seen kind of promo photos, they've used this on Gwen Stacy a couple of different ways, which was pretty darn neat. Now, we'll be taking a look at all of those a little later on. You have The eyes that are going to come with it are pretty wide. You'd almost think that these were the fully open ones. However, you have ones that are very, very wide. All of these being magnetic, but you have very, very wide ones. You can see just how big those get. And in varying degrees of open. Speaking of the eyes, normally when we swap these out, they are, of course, magnetic like we've seen with the other Spider-Man. Normally we'll kind of push on one end. Usually up at the top, that kind of lifts out the lower portion and you pull it. You're not going to be able to do that with having the hood over there. You're just going to use your finger. So make sure you have clean fingers. Don't use anything sharp or anything like that to remove them. But you have that.
Yeah, definitely.
Since we've got it on the head sculpt and we have a tight up there, you're going to be able to swap out this portrait with the unmasked portrait here. And when I do swap those out, we'll do a nice 360 with that. And you also have the hood draped down. So this will go over. We'll do that a little bit later. So this is just a sneak peek of the sculpt because I want you to be able to see it on there. But it's so beautifully done. The strands of the hair on there, that fade and the shave of the hair there is. I like that it is. This is film accurate. You're not doing a human portrait or an actor, but it is exactly what we saw in the film, which is amazing.
Yeah.
We also have, and we've seen this on some of the other Spider-Man figures, is the mask itself, which is just kind of neat that she can hold the mask in one of the open hands.
So it's fabric, Guy?
It is a fabric, yeah, if you see that.
Yeah.
If I kind of wiggle it around there in the neck area, that it is a fabric, and it is the same fabric that we're seeing used on the suit itself. Okay. No, this does not stretch and go over the head. I don't think people would do that, but it is not. It kind of stays in shape, but obviously has enough play that when you're using it or posing with it. Then you've got some really tiny accessories. So we're going to have Michael do a close-up, perhaps down on the base here where it says Gwen Stacy on the base versus Spider-Gwen, just so we can show those incredible close-ups. You have her phone, and on her phone, she's got a selfie that she took of her and Miles.
That's wow. That's
really neat little, and she, of course, has the white phone. You can see even the little camera there on the back. While we've got it there, we're going to keep the close-up camera going. She has her physics book. Here's something I want you to see.
No.
Yep, printed pages in the physics book.
Is it an actual? Now, have you tried to read the pages?
I have
is it an
not.
Actual physics
you know
test,
what?
Or is it that whole ipsum lorem thing?
I think if I probably took my phone and photographed it and then really zoomed in, I would not doubt if it's actual text. These are. I will tell you that it is typed. That's not like little squiggly lines or anything like that. But they have gone and done the full book. We talked about the little swap out eyes, and then this is just a really fun one that she came with. And I'm going to hold this, and that is her little compact with reflective surface.
That's important. She's got to check the damage done to her hair.
Exactly.
By Miles, so
she's got to check
really
the damage done to her hair, and that is a reflective element there. So I'm trying my best not to get my fingers on there. But we talked that it comes with a dynamic stand, and of course is going to have that dynamic stand clip, also shrunk down to a different size, having that foam protector there that you attach to it with the single screw on the back. So that takes us through accessories.
Good.
The hand swap out, you're going to have fists. You're going to have kind of web crawl, traditional web shooting. You have one that holds what we call the lasso, one that holds that L braced one, as well as a hand that you can use for holding the physics book, phone, things like that, and another that's open with kind of the pinky extended, which is this little guy here, which is really like for holding said compact. They've given you a special hand for just doing something like that.
That's critical.
Yeah, well, it's you know, when you get a specialty hand for a specialty, pose or something like
It's
that.
going the extra mile, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
you just have
you're
even more. You're not trying to fidget going, well, what hand is going to kind of look good with this one here? Nope.
They didn't have to do that. They did not have to do that hand. They could have just thrown in the compact and been like, okay, called it a day. But no, they went the extra mile. They gave us that extra hand. And, well, I mean, I'm sure we're paying for it, but that's great. I'm so in love with that.
Now,
in fact, I might have to. I wish I had a compact here. I might actually throw a compact in for a
for a pose.
For a pose, but
while I go over one of these things, perhaps you can run to check. We're going to do one last close up here, and that is you do have that web shooter hand. You'll notice one has the web. Okay, that's if here. Ooh. If you're going to extend the web shooting out.
I see.
It's that one there. Or if you want that clean look, but still have the web shoot pose. All right? So
gotcha. Yeah.
It's very cool. It's very cool. Of course, that's Porker. Peter Porker. Guys.
I'm just so thrilled with that accessory. I'm never going to shut up about it. It's kind of like the same feeling I got with the whole Ray and Dio set that we reviewed, Unsealed and Revealed a few weeks ago. Same thing. It's great to have somebody to partner with your figure and built right into the set. So that's great.
There have been figures where I've purchased them based just on a single accessory. The one of the newer Captain Americas, the fact that it had his compass with Peggy Carter's picture in there was enough for me to pick it up immediately. This one here, yes, I'm getting Spider-Ham. I'm going to do it. All right, so I'm going to set this aside now, Terry. That kind of shows off all the things.
Cool.
There we go. What I wanted to do while taking it away from the stand was just to show that she balances very, very well just on her own. You talked about that elongated leg there, but as you can see, it's a little from the side as well, that she does stand great. She's got her ballet shoes on and all. Yeah, no wonder this person has balance. Let's do a head to toe on articulation, and then I know what the fun stuff we're going to be doing pretty soon is. All right, so we're going to have ball jointed head up here. Now you do have this hood, and the hood kind of slopes downward in the corner. So be careful when you're doing it. Be gentle, but of course you will be able to turn. When you hear that little squeaky, that of course is them rubbing on there, but just be gentle when you do it. Okay? You also have forward tilt and backward. Just a little bit on the backward, but you do have it. Shoulders. Can you hear the ratchet?
I cannot hear the ratchet, but I can see the ratchet, if that makes sense.
Good.
Yeah.
It's
very apparent.
Look at that. With a smaller figure, the sound is smaller. Boom. Having that ratchet on these guys here is fantastic.
That is such a cheerleader pose.
Exactly. So that's all the way up.
Yeah.
Speaking of cheerleader poses, of course, you could put jazz hands or some of the other hands here, and you do have traditional wrist pegs here. You do have double on there. All right, now let's show our forward motion. You're going to get a lot of range, obviously almost all the way up.
Wow.
Yep.
That's contorted, yeah.
Great on that. I'm going to put these off to the side, and we'll go for articulation here in the... The Spider-Man figures are always going to have more articulation. Hot Toys has been great about doing that. So we do have a good side bend. Front bend as well.
Okay. All kinds of torso action.
Back bend.
The most important torso action is...
Huge back bend.
Yeah, that's great.
There. And of course, the twist. Got to be able to Terry twist. Now let's get down into the hip region here. Again, ratchet.
Wow.
All the way straight out.
Now, let me ask you guys, when I see you doing that with relative ease, and you seem to have no fear when you're raising her leg like that, So tell me this. I mean, do you get the impression that the fabric is handling it really well? It seems to be fairly elastic. There doesn't appear to be a lot of pressure on it right now, for instance.
Correct. Yeah, and it's great
Yeah.
that you bring that up. When I did the arms, and you called it the cheerleader, where it was fully extended, even when I've got it all the way up there, there's not a ton of stress on there. There's obviously going to be a fold in the fabric, but this underarm stress,
Sure.
I'm not seeing or feeling that it's being pulled so taut that it's going to tear, rip, or break down. So that is really nice. And yeah, she does move very, very easily. And having that ratchet is great.
Wow. Okay.
We do get our turn. If you're able to see how the leg turns, you can probably see it because of the way the foot is. Let's go to our front. Still ratcheting in. We can go straight 90 like this. That is a cheerleader pose. This is the pose that Terry will be doing in just a moment. Then we'll go back.
Why did you laugh at that, Sam?
Terry's been stretching for 2 hours in preparation for the poses on this one here. He did an online yoga class as well. We see, I'm going to put this one, the one leg straight down so you can get an idea of exactly how far back we can turn.
That's pretty impressive. That's pretty
The
impressive.
back range
Couple that with the,
on there is very good. Ratchet on the knee. So we get that.
Wow.
We have the ball joint on the foot. Now, of course, the costume goes all the way down and tucks in under that shoe. So it is not a removable foot there. But since we do have it that way, Terry, I know you've stretched. I hope you've stretched your vocal cords in order to chime in with...
Red Watch.
There you go.
Sam beat me that time.
Exactly. It is flat ballet shoes. Okay. Now they are molded flat in there. There is not an articulation point in the toe that we would see in some of the other Spider-Man figures, but you'd have to consult with some of the ballet dancers. I don't think that ballet shoes really are that bendable in that, particularly like a point shoe like that. So
now, guys, the just a question from YouTube about the fabric of the suit. Is there a texture to that, or is that does that feel smooth? Is that a printed thing, or is it? I can see that there's a pattern.
There is a pattern. If we can close up here, particularly, let's say right in the abdominal region there that you see the pattern. When I'm rubbing my finger over it, it is probably 3D printed. It's not super slick, but it is still very smooth. But it does have a texture print to it, breaking up those lines. And speaking of the lines, I love the hint of the spider web and the pink. Gwen Stacy was...
It's a great costume.
I only saw her... my first introduction was seeing people dressed as the character at conventions, and actually there was part of me that thought it was kind of their own creation, and I thought, oh, that's really a neat take on that. But now, of course, you get a lot of Gwen Stacy stuff. We finally get a figure, and I think it's really cool that we got her like this. But I do like the hints of Spider-Man webbing, in that. With
got to maintain that theme, and I think
the lining inside the hood, the little bits that we have in the arm area there. One more point of articulation is probably going to be asked about, and that would be our shoulder there. We do have it's not a huge amount of butterfly joint, but that's also because it's a smaller figure. That's probably why we're not seeing.
I think proportionally, it's exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah, proportionally, it is correct on there. I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to kind of just plop her there in the stand because the other accessory that we didn't show off that I'm not sure whether we're going to use with our poses today is it does come with a backdrop for each of these characters. We have one for Peter Porker.
Backdrops are fun.
Boom.
Yeah, I dig those a lot.
It actually does say boom. I like that it has hot dogs and a big mallet It's just kind of silly. Now this one here is on printed clear plastic, and there are two little stands that you insert. Again, this is all stuff that you will build. Now this one here is really big, and that's why I kind of had it off to the side. Okay.
Wow.
This is folded in the back. You open it up, and then it's going to have these three little bits, the tab A slot B style, and then the bottom has a base that you attach to it, and little two-part stick tabs, and then that goes right around the base itself.
That looks really sharp. If you're going to put that figure by itself in a DTOF, or even with Peter Porker in a DTOF, then that would really enhance the overall look of the figure. That's definitely a well-applied backdrop.
It's definitely.
I don't always get 100% behind backdrops. I appreciate them, but they're not something that I give a whole lot of prominence to in my own display. That one, I would be all over like hair on a gorilla.
It's real.
Or like webs on a spider.
Either one of those works. You brought up the DTOF thing, and you know what? I didn't bring a tape measure to find out exactly how tall.
That's a good question.
This is. It could very well be a little over that 15 and a half, but I do see somebody scurrying and probably try and look for something like that there. But we'll put this off to the side. That is, as I said, something that you do have available to you. But I know the pose you want is her just sitting reading the physics book. That's what.
That's pretty actually floating, like floating, like you have it right there, just like
reading
floating,
physics,
hovering and reading physics. Yeah.
So
define physics while reading physics. That's my thing. Yeah.
So without further delay, I guess then, do you want to start guiding me through the poses you'd like?
Yeah, I think so. I'm
going to step to the side here while a trained technician in measuring technology comes in.
Mr. Allen to the rescue.
How high is it?
And we are looking at 19 inches. 19 inches.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you are going to use this, that will either be you're removing. Yes, this is the Stanley 13-foot tape measure, available at your local retailers, not at sideshow.com. But it would be the kind of thing that if you are going to do in a case like that, it would be where you're removing one layer of glass, or great on a shelf. Which is fantastic.
Okay,
so,
well, since you've got her...
Yeah, I already just put it in the stand because I just kind of wanted to have her there for the moment and show kind of how that holds in there.
Sure. Okay, so I think that for our purposes, what we should probably do here is I want to get her flying. I want to get her up in the air.
Okay.
And I want to have her with her mask on. For this one.
Okay.
Okay. And just trying to think. Okay.
She's in the air. Is she web shooting?
She's going to be web swinging with one hand. And I'm thinking we should probably get your, what did you call it? The lasso web?
The lasso web.
Yeah. So
yes.
Let's bring the lasso web in.
All right.
Okay.
Now for...
And I'm going to turn up my gain here.
For our lasso and how you use that, that is going to be in the left hand. The hand kind of looks like so with the thumb extended. If we do a close-up there, you see how it goes in.
Cool.
The web is flexible enough. You put in one side and stretch and get the other.
Next time we do a Spider-Man figure, Guy, remind me to bring some silly string to the table or something.
I like everything about that. I like everything about that.
All right, cool.
All right, so we have that hand ready to go.
All right, yeah. So, I'm going to balance on this stool.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. I'm going to try to balance on this stool as I effect a Spider-Gwen pose, or try to effect a Spider-Gwen pose. So, what I'd like to do is I want this hand with the web in it. Are you doing it on left hand or right hand, Guy?
You are correct in the hand that you have. The left hand is what we have for our lasso.
Okay, cool. So she's going to have that arm back. Okay?
Got it.
And then for her right arm, we're going to have a web shooting hand.
Web shoot hand.
Yeah. Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Now,
quick question for you. Something I was curious about. What is your take on the pegs, on the wrist pegs, and swapping out the hands? Is it relatively easy? And once you get it done, is it pretty? Are they in there pretty firmly?
Good question. Obviously, these are a smaller peg than our wrist. So
Yes.
I did what Terry Smith has taught me in every How to Be a Poser, as well as Introduction to How to Be a Poser, is anytime I'm going to be moving something, anytime I'm swapping something out, I want to be as close to that as possible. So we'll already be doing it for this hand here. I'm holding on that wrist and giving the hand a turn. You do hear that it pops off cleanly. I wasn't having to force it, but it does hold on there nice and tight. So yeah, Terry, it's a very easy swap out for that.
Okay.
Next thing on the swap out, we're having this right hand there for the shootout. We do have the option of doing it with the bulbous web and actually shooting web out, or the clean slick version of the hand.
Okay.
Is there
Cool. Good.
one that you prefer?
I'm thinking a
We're
clean.
double webbing.
No, I want to catch her in the second before she's actually shot the webbing. So let's
Okay.
go ahead and go with the clean.
Clean hand. Got it.
Okay. Now, for those of you at home, this is actually a test of the stability of this stool that I have. I have no idea if I'm going to actually remain upright in actually a balanced position here, or if I'm going to come toppling to the ground. So you're basically seeing me do my own stunts. This is trial.
It is
by
posing
fire.
and a core workout. If you can do both of those things, it's just a great thing to be able to do. All right.
I was in dire need of any kind of workout. at this point. Yeah.
All
Okay,
right. Gotcha,
so-
sir.
Okay, so we're going to kind of have her torso twisted to the left. All right.
Okay.
All right, and her arm is going to be reaching back. Basically, it's going to be going back over her head.
Okay.
So kind of like that kind of a motion, holding on to the web.
Mm-hmm.
This arm is going to be out, getting ready to shoot, and that foot, the right foot, is going to be kind of stretched out in the same distance, pointing the same direction as the arm.
All right. Pointed on the toe. Is that leg? Is the knee going to be bent at all, or is that a full?
So slightly, just like you have it.
Okay.
The knee that will be bent is the left leg.
All right.
Yeah. Good.
Now, I only just went at the same angle there, so, but I did do a patented twist away that you had me do. Boom, boom.
And I think you got it. I would do a little bit of a crunch towards take that torso and crunch her towards the foot. Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah. Spin that around so that I can see the profile on that for me, please.
Sure.
Bingo. Yeah, I think that's done.
All right.
Look how easy that was.
Now, the leg, all I did with this one here was extend the one straight with the arm, if there's the over.
Yeah.
Is this leg going outward at all?
I think it should. Rather than just have everything be on the same plane like that, if you can break that plane by just creating another plane that kind of intersects it, then that would really add to the overall look of it. I think that works really well. And I see you're adding the web to it now. Good.
I'm adding the web to it.
Once you've done that, if you can get it on the stand.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing with the web, obviously, is that you can have it either direction. Is that you could have it with the shorter end this direction or back the other, but I think this is how we're going to want to do it. Boom. All right. I'm going to take the stand, put over here, place on it. Now, I have not adjusted the stand yet. I will be doing that however you tell me to do it, as far as pulling backward or other. But right now it is in a
little bit back. It looks like right now it looks like she's aiming down and she should be aiming up, or maybe straight. Yeah, there we go. That's it. That's got it. Yeah, I was trying to figure out. I was looking at it thinking something's not quite right with that, and when you said that, it all connected to me. I'm like, okay, yeah, we got to make an adjustment to that stand.
Tighten it.
But look how easy that was.
The nice part about
that just pose themselves, people, and this is definitely one of those figures.
The really nice thing I just noticed on here, we've done dynamic stands like with the Iron Man and things like that, and those are, a lot of them have been die cast or they're much heavier. Her being so light with this, having to crank down and really be concerned about the clip and where you have it on there was not as big a concern this time. I was really able to do a lot. Hey, look at that, she's fully inverted. This is the Maverick pose. Where you go inverted. But that part there, Terry, was really
keeping up foreign relations.
Yeah, exactly. Was really a neat thing with having her light like this.
Yeah.
Spectacular. I'm not worried that she's going to droop it all. Once I've got it where I want it, I'm probably going to lock that stand down. Now, Terry, I want to ask you a question. And that is about the dynamic stand. With these dynamic stands, we have the waist cinch, but we also have a plate in the back that acts as a balance. Now, when you're using this, or when you're guiding me through one of these poses, where do you like the back or that flat panel right here to lay? Do you like that on the lower back, or do you find that you're going to put it on whatever spot needs it best for balance?
The answer to that question is a resounding yes.
Okay.
Whatever
Spectacular.
it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever
all right.
it takes. If it works for you to have it on the back, on the lower back, then great. And then having the grip be more up around the rib area. If that's what works for the pose, then do it. If in order to achieve your pose, you've got to get that thing to wrap around the hips, do it. If you've got to get it to wrap around the leg, do it. Doesn't matter. That thing is a multi-purpose stand. It's not. It's designed to go a certain way, but it's. You can use it in other ways other than which it was intended. In fact, if you were going to be on Strike a Pose, then you would get points for creativity if you actually found new ways to use it. So keep that in mind.
And the general public can now do that, correct? Strike a pose?
True. That's very true.
There are some fan auditions?
I don't think they're actively looking for new contestants at the moment, but they will be.
Always looking.
Yeah? Is that how it works? Always looking?
Yeah.
Good to know.
That's my
plug
secret.
Hey,
Tony.
Terry.
We're always looking.
Yeah, it's like every time you go into Trader Joe's and say, "Hey, you guys hiring?" Yeah, we're always taking applications.
Hey, Terry.
Boom.
Terry, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
We're always looking for fan interest in Strike a Pose. So if Sam wants to throw up that graphic, I believe we could still take fan auditions. We do have.
Oh, yeah, nice, Sam. You had it.
Well, you do that. I'm going to do the neutral pose on this to get her back to the original pose.
I like it. That's a good call.
So just to let everybody know,
if anybody's interested in actually being on an episode of Strike a Pose, then please, by all means, follow that link down there at the bottom and just do whatever it tells you to do, within reason. I'm not sure what it tells you to do when you go to that link, so it could be something really.
I think it tells you to strike a pose.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fair.
Now, for this next pose, are we going to be doing it with the portrait? Because we do want to.
Yes.
Okay. So
absolutely, I want to show that thing off. It's great.
Michael, can we kind of zoom in here toward the head? All right.
right before, hold on one second. Let me interrupt one more time, guys.
Yes, show us how you do this.
When it comes to the Strike a Pose auditions, follow the on-screen directions when you get there, but make sure you show yourself in your audition, not just the figure.
That's crucial, and the reason that Alan brings that up is because we really want to see your performance as well as your performance as a person, how you play on screen, in addition to your skills with an action figure. Obviously, that's important, but so is the other. You might say that they're equally important to some extent. So yeah, by all means, please make sure that you're in the camera. And I think, Alan, that you want them actually actively posing the figure. Is that right, or you just want to see the end result?
No, so they can show a final pose, but they do need to be on camera explaining the pose and the decisions they made, so that we can see how they perform as well as how well they can pose a figure.
Okay. And just to be fair, and just so everybody knows, I'm neutral in this. I do not get a say in who's chosen. This is strictly from this is people. These are other people who actually choose the people who are
actually Terry.
Terry's the talent.
if you want to, yeah, exactly.
Terry, I am actually the chooser.
If you want to send me figures as a bribe, then I will accept them. However, it will be totally useless for your needs.
Hey, Terry, can you hear me?
Yes.
I am the one who chooses.
Okay.
So,
that would, okay. I
this
didn't
is
want to out you, Alan, but
this is a new character entering into the comic book world, the Chooser.
yeah, the selector.
Yeah, and the thing is we're not sure if he's hero, anti-hero, villain. There's a lot that we're going to learn about the Chooser in future episodes, so make sure that you're watching. Myself, I would never get picked for the show because I would just put Peter Porker out like there and go, hey, I'm done, because he's just the coolest art. Went to spin it around fast there. But what I want to do now is do a close-up here over on the hood so we can do the swap out and show what that's like. It does remove like so. As far as the head coming out of the hood, no, that is all one piece. So don't try and remove the head from the piece like so. However, once you have it like so, you're going to drop this over. That's going to give you that hood down there.
Yeah, the hood and the mask are one.
Yep. The hood and the mask
Definitely.
are, yeah, thank you. Yeah, they are one. They are one piece. Look at that. Look at that portrait.
Wow, man, I'm just so smitten by that portrait. It's just such a great looking paint job.
The brightness of the eyes.
Everything about it.
And such on this one are so neat. I do want to lift this up a little bit so you can see. It is all sculpted, of course. Right here, the little two that hang down, if you look underneath, you can see that she's got her little eyebrow piercing. Depending on the angle that you catch, you will see that that's there.
Now that hood, the folded hood, is that a hard molded plastic, or is that the same fabric as the suit?
No, this is not. Once in the downward, this is a hard molded plastic piece.
Okay, I assumed, but
I
it's
push
good to
down
know.
into place. You'll know when it's fully in place because it'll look correct. But as you can see,
Wow, it's
the
very, very well.
Yeah, the paint job that's done on it. This is the fabric done in that texture. That is paint with that same look of the texture. And
It's a solid
they're
call.
really
It's a solid call.
seamless.
If they would have done the fabric version of it, then it definitely would not have been that form fitting.
It wouldn't have been that,
It would
yeah.
not have looked natural at all.
Yeah, you would have had to have a wire or something like that, and getting that to lay flat like that would have been much different. But this again shows our range of motion. Now, obviously, when you have the hood down, I'm not restricted as far as range of motion the way the hood was. So the forward and back is a little more pronounced. So,
right.
But anyway, that's with the other portrait. So, talk to me, balancing one.
Well, I'm actually kind of torn right now because I'm trying to decide, and it's okay. I'm just keeping my eye on the clock because I know we don't have a whole lot of time. But I'm kind of torn between what I want to do. I have an idea that involves her carrying her textbook, but she's not actually going to be carrying the textbook while she's wearing that costume, right?
Well, she
Although I
could
guess she
be.
could
I mean,
and I also want to have her interacting with Peter Porker.
okay.
Yeah, like maybe this is the first time. Like imagine a scene between the scenes. Like this is the first time that they met. A little bit of a side quest, if you will. So let's. I don't know. Maybe just do something like that where she's
I'm just shaking hands. Whoops, shaking hands. Look at that.
Yeah,
And
let
the
me pop this
compact goes
out.
flying.
Okay,
yeah,
so
you-
he's reaching out to her. I'm going to turn up my gain so you guys can still hear me. He's reaching out to her, and like shake hands.
Mm-hmm.
And she, I think, should be holding her textbook in one hand
Mm-hmm.
and have the other hand on a hip, and just kind of like giving this quizzical look, like, huh?
All right. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
see how we're going to do this. We do have a physics book holding type hand. Do we have a physics book holding hand, like a gripper? A little bit, maybe.
Maybe. Do we?
I'm trying to find the right hand to kind of do a
Sure.
bit of a grip. I want to have it being held on there. Okay, I'm going to use this hand here, which is kind of a.
Maybe that accessory was meant to just be sitting on a table. or
Well,
something.
if you look through your instructions that, of course, you are not a fan of, it actually shows it in an open format and showing you which hands to use, where it has the kind of a flat open hand holding it and all.
Well,
but
let's not do
if
that
we
then.
want to
Let's
have
forget
it
the book.
down on the side, I think this is going to work. We're going to use the little clip hand, but once we get her all on there, if you go, not my thing, we'll switch it out. So I'm going to put right hand up on the hip. For that, open palm. Now, could you stand up and show me exactly how I should be putting the hand on the hip? I want to have it, just right, and whether she's...
I'm Gwen. Okay.
This is the part I love.
And to my right is Peter Porker, reaching out with his hand to shake, reaching his hand with his hand to shake my hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, I'm going to see if I can hear. Here we go. See if this works. Okay, this is Peter. Pretend that Dobby is Peter Porker. Okay.
Okay.
See right there? Good boy. Yeah. No? Dobby doesn't want to play this game. Okay. So we're going to use Grogu.
Nice.
All right. Can we see Grogu?
Yeah, I can.
Yes. Okay, good. All right, cool. So she's going to have the book in her left hand, right?
Left hand? Okay.
Is that right? Is that accurate? Okay.
Make it work.
So she's basically going to be kind of hand on her hip here and turning around and looking down like, huh?
We are going to have to invert the hands as far as the grip hand we have. She's going to hold her book in her right hand.
Yeah? Okay.
Yep, so if you want to, if that's okay.
Yeah, whatever works.
All right.
In fact, I think that works better. Let's have the same directions and have the book down here between her and Grogu and have this hand on her hip and just cock that hip away from Peter Porker.
I just like how with absolute ease you are able to throw your hip like that. It's incredible.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I pay for it at night.
All right. Putting on the correct hand
Oh, that looks really good.
there.
I'm loving the posability of this figure. It reminds me of how much great stuff you were able to see people do with the Alita Battle Angel figure.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. Are you seeing that, Sam? It's it's very, very similar.
I'm sitting back here
Oh.
like, who does she remind me of? And it's like, oh, duh.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Whoop. Trying to get her to hold her book. Well, there we go. Got the hold of the book, hand to the hip, look down, little turn to the side, a little hand on the hip action there.
Yeah, that's cool. I would do a little bit of a torso twist towards Peter. No, the other way. To her left. Yeah. And then rotate her so that she's looking kind of down her shoulder, a little bit more down her shoulder. And then looking down. Oh, other direction, man. Oh no, I'm sorry. You were doing fine. I got turned around in my head. Again.
I wasn't going to add the again, but I'm glad you did.
That's okay. You don't need to, man. I'm nothing if not self-deprecating. Yeah.
Little eye contact. Porker.
Yeah. And that's good. That's good. I think if I were going to do anything, I would take that arm.
This one
and
here?
at the shoulder, I would her right arm with the book in it, and I would swing it rather than you can see. I'm just going to have got a book. So I would take the book and rather than having it out front like this, I would kind of like swing it back a little bit so that it's kind of behind her, and you really can't see where I'm standing. So let me unplug myself.
How's that?
So you kind of have it out like this. Rather than that, I would have it back like this, and then you can kind of arch her back a little bit just to give her a little bit more attitude. Just grabbed the book that was on the top of the stack of books here, and it actually was a textbook in and of itself.
It wasn't it was it a physics book?
It was actually a physics book, and yeah, it's a guitar amplifier electronics basic theory, and there is a lot of physics involved. So
Physics,
yeah.
properties of physics.
Yes,
You are in a cool club.
Oh yeah, that looks much better, man. I love that.
She's fun.
This is so neat.
This is fun.
Yeah.
It is a definitely very easy to pose figure. You asked about whether or not I was fearful or apprehensive in moving the figure around, and I really, really wasn't. I know that having those tight spider suits, that's very, very frequently a question or just a ponderance that people have of, I don't know, maybe I don't want to do anything with it. I'm not really sensing that here. It has enough give in the suit. It's just,
yeah, I kind of picked up on that. I think also that that Hot Toys has been at this for a number of years now, since their first Spider-Man figure, which was how long ago? I guess it would have had to be for Homecoming, right? And or thereabouts. And they've come a long way. They've had plenty of time to evolve the process of developing these suits. And I think that over time, I've noticed that the flexibility and the elasticity have improved in maybe not equal parts, but close enough to being equal as makes no odds.
What about her legs? Is she just full on standing?
Yeah,
a little straight up, a little wider than.
Yeah, nailed it, man. I think that's a great pose. So why don't you rotate her around? Yeah, that's right there.
Boom.
Freeze.
And I'm gonna
step away. Step away so
aside.
everybody can get a look. Yeah, now we're talking. Very, very cool. That's a really kind of a autumnal, almost Halloween themed spooky background going on there. Speaking of which, next week is Spooktacular, and as part of Spooktacular, we're going to have a special Halloween episode of Strike a Pose airing. Wow, that figure looks great. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I had a great time with the 3 contestants that we had on the show. You just tune in. It's worth a watch. I'm not going to tell you what the figure is, obviously, because that's all part of the process. So yeah, check it out. Producer Alan, do we know exactly what the date is that will be airing?
We do.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So without further ado, we're going to move on. Thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules during the day like this to watch us have fun with our toys. Thanks to Guy for totally knocking it out of the park today with all those poses that I had him do. Thanks again to Paul for being the glue and holding it all together, and as far as the chats and the conversations with everybody out there in the webosphere are concerned. Producer Michael, producer Alan, super producer Sam, you guys rocked as always. And so thanks again, everybody. And until next time, don't forget to let your geek side show.
Later, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.